So we've talked about some pretty simple chords so far, triads, 1, 3, 5. We've talked about them in different ways, and they're major and minor or diminished. And there is sometimes a tendency to have it be very simple and often maybe a little boring when you're just playing it this way. But through a bunch of different things, one of them being inversions, which we're going to talk about right now, you can really mix it up and play so many different things with just one chord or just a couple of chords. So let's jump into it.
Learning how music works will help any musician in every way. Speaking music.
When we learn the triads, we pretty much always have our root, our third, and our fifth. So 1, 3, 5. And that's how you typically learn them to begin with. So if we have our normal chords, C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, and B diminished, you'd see them like that. But we don't always want to play them like that. So we can actually invert them. And they're still the same chord, it's just changed up a little. So if we have our C major chord, C major, we have our 1, 3, and 5. This is called root position. Now, if we want to change that up a little, we can just take that 1 and throw it on top. So now we have 3, 5, and 1. This is called first inversion. And we can do that again, make a second inversion by having our 5, 1, and then 3. So now we took our third and we threw that on top. Obviously, if we did that again and threw the fifth on top, it would just be the root position again, an octave higher. So that's why there isn't a third inversion in this instance. So root position, first inversion, second inversion. Now for piano and writing down sheet music, this is how you'd see it, but a lot of instruments already have this built in. So let's look at a C chord on the guitar. A lot of times you're not playing this first note because you want the bass note to ring out as your major, your main dominant chord note. So we'd have our C first, and then an E, and then a G, but the guitar has multiple strings. It doesn't just have 3, we have 6 strings. So then we also have a C again and an E again. So you could literally play this as inversions by first playing these 3 strings. This would be C, E, G, like this, right here. And then you could play E, G, C, which is this, E, G, C, like your second inversion. And then you could just play G, C, E if you wanted, which is right here. So just by playing these 3 notes, then these 3 notes, then the next 3 notes, you can play the different inversions, or you can strum the whole thing, which would be like that, and it would go from C up to an E. So some instruments already have this inversion built in, but understanding what it is and how to use it will change how your music sounds drastically. Here we have a song. It is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star in the key of G. Now the melody is right here. So twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. And we're filled in underneath it the chords, which allows it to be have a little more harmony, a little bit more depth. So, but we've done it in inversion. So the top note is always the melody, and you fill in what the chords would be underneath. So G is normally G, B, and D. So we have a G here and we have a D here, and we could even add in a B down below. And that would just add a little bit more of that chord. And then when the note jumps up, you can now add in the rest of the chord in root position if you wanted. Here's our C, and we have the whole chord here, C, E, and then we drop the G down here because the melody is up here and you don't want to have that up higher, the chords playing higher than the melody, or else it drowns it out and it makes it a little confusing. Then we have our G chord in root position, C once again, G once again. D would be, you could have that like this, D, D, F sharp, A, and then ending on a G again. So I have this playing in two different ways right after this. The first one, as you see here, is played like we first mentioned with the melody on top. So listen to that. All right, now listen to it with the melody being mixed in and the chords just playing in root position, and it will sound quite different to you.
Learn more about music theory in a simple and practical way on our website in our full music theory book. In it, we teach about the keys, the chords, transposing, modes, and the basics of sheet music. Speaking music.